Yeah, we just launched the EOA Start and the Bronze. It has been a journey with a lot of efforts from a cross-functional team. And we've been gone through from strategy to policy to execution, including just all aspects of pricing and packaging change that you can imagine. I think it would be worthwhile to talk about what are the key learnings and the success factors from this journey. And then it will be good to just talk through with Sid over here.
Yeah, thanks for that, Kshaha. And yeah, one of the biggest projects we've ever done, a lot of risk, and I think with a really good result and a really great cross-functional effort.
Mm-hmm. A couple of things over here, right? So the first one is the direct engagement of our CEO Sid over here, right, to support on the whole rollout of the critical system. Because we do need a very sophisticated rollout on the system to support our majority of the customers to self-serve on our web portal.
Yeah, I was very much involved. I think that was needed. I think next time I should be less needed, but I think that we went into this project with just you here in pricing with a couple of projects on you. I think we are just basically understaffed in pricing, and we should hopefully next time we have a project like this, pricing is going to be better staffed and less involvement of me is needed. Obviously, I need to be involved. Engineering needs to be involved, but not on the sometimes daily meetings cadence that I was now.
Yeah. Thanks. So the second thing is, from the beginning of the project, we discussed and aligned on the initiative principles. So we had a 5 principle to set up from the beginning, and everybody agree with it. The first thing is that we want to have a customer-friendly legacy pricing approach, and we've been sticking with that throughout the journey with all the detailed approach.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that was important, and that made the transition easier. And I think that's something I'm still monitoring, that gets rolled out to every single customer we have. I think for below 25 seats, we have a clearly documented one, and want to make sure that as it goes into customer agreements directly with sales, that all the customers are being served well and treated fairly as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the number 3 thing is the legacy pricing and the migration policy. We had our hypothesis, and we've gone through some iterations. I think it was great to have the pricing research data to support and validate our approach. So a couple of the approach, right? At the end of the day, we didn't really change significantly on the approach that we reviewed in September. For example, we wanted to have like free up tier, midterm up tier for smaller customers. And then also we wanted to have a stair-stepped pricing approach for the next couple of years, 3 years, so that we bring the customer along the pricing increase journey. And then we wanted to have a starting pricing from about $6. That was the willingness to pay that we learned from the past data. But at the end of the day, the research, was strongly supporting those approach, make us feel very confident for the rollout.
Yeah, and what I think it was, I agree with everything you said. I think it was great to have it supported by data. And I think one of the big things was what the data supported was raising the price of premium right now, because the customers are willing to pay more for it, which is very rare. So basically we're underpricing. And I think it's good to realize there were 2 big reasons we didn't do that. First of all, don't roll out 2 big changes at the same time. Like, although pricing changes are one-way doors, like let's not go through 7 doors at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is realize that the population changes. Like if a lot of people are going to go from Bronze and Starter to Premium, that changes the population, and that makes that old data is no longer accurate as you change the population of people who are on a plan.
Yes, I agreed with it because the customer dynamics will be changed because of the effort. Yep. And then the number 4 thing is, we had a well-defined end-to-end project plan, and we followed the plan to execute. So there were like tons of deliverables and mini steps for us to execute on a daily basis in the past couple months. And then all the DRIs, right, being really following the plan that we laid it out from the beginning. I think that was one of the key factors for the execution as well.
Yeah, following the plan, but also giving constant feedback on it. So for example, Bartek and engineering did an awesome job saying, okay, now this is this much at risk. This is this much at risk. So we were able to kind of adjust the plan and adjust the effort all the way down to the finish line.
Yep. And number 5 is we followed the approach. Basically, we defined a core launch team from beginning with very clear roles and responsibilities. And then that included 5 tracks mainly. So number 1 is a pricing policy readiness. Number 2 is system readiness. Number 3 is communications and enablement readiness. And number 4 is operation readiness. And then number 5, last but not the least, we have a track on risk management. So with that structured, I've been seeing that's been working out because we make sure we covered all the aspects of pricing and the packaging rollout.
Yeah, I think there's 3 additional things I want to call out. We tested the clarity of the messaging with team members who were not involved with the effort, and gave them like a test. Hey, if you were a customer that is in situation XYZ and you read this announcement and the FAQ, what's your cost going to be next year? Something like that. Or what are the choices you have? So I thought that was great and something we can repeat. The second thing is that we tested the sentiment with real customers and confidentially, and we made improvements based on that. So it was really great. We tested, I think, with 5 customers. 4 of them said, hey, you should talk about the value of premium more. And we didn't do that. We didn't want to be too selly, but that's what they needed. We adjusted. And I think that was great to have kind of, it was iteration because we rolled it out to real customers, but they agreed to speak to us in confidence, which is very nice of them. And it really allowed us to improve our messaging beforehand. Which is much better than if you have to improve the messaging when it's already out to the world. And then third, we had 2 weeks to test all the functionality. Like the web store was an essential part. Like you have to give the accurate price, you have to allow self-serve upgrades. And engineering was done on time, and we were able to start testing, discover a ton of bugs, and that caused us to have a release day with 0 important bugs. That was so important that all our customers, it's annoying enough that they have to deal with something like that for them. Then if our automation isn't working, that's really bad. And it was working. So it's so easy to go over schedule and not have that last time for testing. And that means all your customers are hitting the bugs. So really important to reserve those last 2 weeks. And we did that, and it was awesome. I'm really proud of the team for that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing all the thoughts, Sid, on this one. And then lastly, I would just recommend using the EOA from strategy to delivery as a model for our future pricing and packaging rollout. I think a lot of things we accumulated up here, and we can use it as an example for the future.
Yes, let's hope we don't have too many EOAs, but yeah, we can use it for pricing updates in the future.
I don't believe we will have a lot. However, this is probably the most complex pricing and packaging rollout you could imagine, just because of many aspects of it. And we should be, next time we should be easier and less complex, but it's a good model for us to follow.
I totally agree.